Hello, today Hello, today I'll show you a tutorial of how I did the text projection slash hologram thing that I did in my recent Fact Sphere annoyance video. Okay, let's get started. Oh, I should mention that, at least the way that I did it, you need Portal 2 contents, a notepad editor, like I use Notepad++, and common sense, I would say. So I have my work camera and camera 1 set up. Let's create a new light, and I'll just put it over here. This is the light that we'll use, and we'll enable volumetrics like so. So the first step is to change or set a gobo texture, and I think if you've seen like Zach Scott's videos, he also talked about gobo textures briefly, and also Jimmerlin's. It's a setting in light where you right click and you can set a light gobo texture. We're gonna make a custom one, and we're gonna follow the text case that I did for my video. So let me just quickly open up Photoshop, and we'll make a new document. I have a preset of 1024 by 1024 since I believe the texture files have to be square shape, not rectangular. So I just did 1024 pixels by 1024. That's large enough. I have background contents to transparent, and we'll make that. So what we want is, because we'll use this on a prop, we're gonna set a custom Fuck, no, we're not doing that yet. What we're doing now is writing the gobo texture. So let's just write some fucking text, put tf2 build. With gobo textures, I think everything black is transparent and everything white is opaque. So we'll just color everything black right now, add a new layer, and write some white text on. I don't know, suck a dick. No. I like ducks. And just resize that. Fucking call. Right, sorry about that. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, we were making the gobo texture. So here I just have a white text on black background. I like ducks. Now we are going to, okay, press enter. We're going to save this as a TGA file. Not that. I think you have to install TGA plugin for Photoshop. I think that can easily be Google searched. So I'll just save it in my custom material file and call this fuck I like ducks, as it says. Resolution 32 bits, highest possible. And now we're going to go to VTF edit. Again, another thing you can download from the internet, Google it. So we're going to import our I like ducks TGA file. Now I just have it set for DXT5 for importing options. Maybe it doesn't matter, maybe you can just do default. That's just what I have, and that's how my general options look. That's how my advanced options look. Resources. Okay, and so we import it. Just a brief look at the alpha mask, all white. That should be pretty fine, since I think it knows that gobo textures, black is transparent, white is opaque. So we're gonna save it as a VTF. Same thing, I like ducks. Quack. And close out of that. And I'll open up SFM again, just a second. And here we are again. Our light with volumetrics is still there, all set and good. So let's right click, set light gobo, and oh my god, I forgot. Okay, my bad. So instead, what you have to do after you edit. So once you have your I like ducks, VTF, and VMT files, you only need to copy the VTF file and put it in your Steam apps, common, source filmmaker, not milk, game, user mod, materials, anywhere in here. I just made a custom folder called gobo textures. That's where I put all my gobo textures. And that's that. In source filmmaker, we want to right click the light, set light gobo texture, rescan just in case. I'm scanning in my user mod directory and I just typed in gobo and it should be in here. I like ducks. Ooh, fabulous. Let's open it up. Ooh, there are so many I like ducks. So you see, the transparency and so forth worked well in that only the white showed up and the black is transparent, but all these lines, that's because it's functioning as a regular light. We want to right click the light, show an element viewer light, and select Uber light. So now that looks pretty good, and we can just do some adjustments if we want. For the moment that looks good. The way I did the projection thing, I set, I think, min, max, and I adjusted these things. Yeah, I adjusted max and fucking call. Apologies again. Distractions. Anyway, where were we? Yes, the gobo texture. And it looks pretty good so far. Something you may notice if we adjust it and point it at the wall, or forget it. I was gonna show you that although when pointing it, the text is correct orientation, but when looking towards it, which is what my fact sphere video does, it's in reverse. So what you would simply do is go back into your Photoshop file, hopefully you haven't deleted it, and don't highlight it like I did, stupid me. You just go to image orientation, flip canvas horizontal, and you would just go through same process, targa, I like ducks, replace it, yeah, blah. Anyway, you get your whole deal, and then you have to import it again because it's a new TGA texture file, and then resave it, replace, yeah. Go into, yeah, you get the whole idea. I like ducks, go in here, materials, go with texture, and overwrite. This is a good example to show you that, oh, it doesn't immediately update. Like if we try to see from here, you can kind of tell, oh, it's correct orientation when we look from it, but looking at it, it's reverse. So you would just go into console, which is the tilde key, the key right next to the number 1, and type in mat, reload all materials. Give it a second or so, depending on your computer. Go back into primary viewport, move around. Whoops, that was only for like actual texture files and not like gobos. So give me a second. Okay, so apparently what you have to do is, if you want to modify the gobo texture, like flipping the text and so forth, it's not console command and it's not like opening the project file again, it's restarting SFM from scratch. And as you can kind of tell, It's reversed if we try to look from the view, but towards it, the text is properly oriented, just like in my fact sphere video. But, oh, it's just the fucking volumetric lights. There is no, like, decipherable text, so hide. So you see, oh, it's just volumetric light, not really decipherable text. And the trick I did, it was take a glass panel and put it right in front of the volumetric light, and it shows the text very clearly. This is where the Portal 2 contents come in, because it's a Portal 2 glass panel. So we'll search in the Portal 2 directly and type in glass. Give it a second. Yadada. Let me see if I can find it. They're not gibs. I remember it had like numbers. Ah, here we are. Yes, these glass panels. Check the wireframe so that you can pick the correct size you want. Let's go with 192x128B. Hopefully that's not the one I edited, because we'll get to this later. Open that up. Yes, it's not the one I edited. So this is the glass panel that hopefully your Portal 2 contents has. And let's just move it in front, orient it, and ooh, the magic's almost there. Move it a bit closer. I like ducks. Yippee! Maybe in front a bit. Yippee! Ooh, it just says like ducks. Give me a second. Oh yes, since we set it as uber light, we can set width, height, etc. So let's just increase width by a tad. We don't want it to go on the walls, so width by just a bit, since we want all the text to be shown. And if you have more like on top or on bottom of your texture file, you may want to adjust height as well. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Oop, we don't want that. So let's adjust it downward. Yes, looks pretty good. And this is good for the moment, but it's not great, since especially with a moving camera, it's kind of visible, the glass panel, especially with these lines. Oh god, those lines are in the way. So what we'll do is create a simple, very simple, custom texture for this specific glass panel. Let me just save it, and we shall go search for the texture file of that glass panel. Source Filmmaker, Game, Portal 2, Materials, Models. The hell is it? If you don't quite know where to search the texture file for, open up the model in the element viewer and just look at the model name. So it's material, you would search in materials folder, and then whatever else is written here. So models, prop destruction, glass 192B. Back in here, we're in models, go to prop destruction, and it's 192B, these guys. We don't really care about frosted, even though they are important. What is important is the VMT, since that's what we can edit with our, oh shut up, with our notepad, fucking, yeah, notepad++. Anyway, this is the VMT file that we want to use, since it's what our model is looking at. And this base texture, which is this VTF, is looking at, the VMT is looking at this VTF as a base texture. we're going to make it look at a different base texture. So that's what we're going to make in Photoshop again. Let's go back in here, create a new document, 1024 again, transparent, the usual. And a key thing is, I think it's a good idea to create an alpha panel so that you can get a sense of what is transparent and what isn't. So if, say, we color this all black, oh, it's all pinkish, so that means it's all opaque. We color it all white, oh, it's transparent, so that means it's all transparent. One thing I learned from experimenting and trial and error, setting the base texture with all black, although it does make it makes it full opaque, which means that you can't see through it at all, which is what we don't want. We want to see through it. But if you make it full white, in other words full transparent, then this volumetric texture gobo thingy won't appear on it. So let's just add a teensy touch of white in here. So set it back to full black so that it's full transparent. Go into your color, and right now it's all black. It's what it was, but yeah, it's full black now. But what we want is to just set the RGB values, each of them, to 1. So it's the very, very hint of like dark gray. You may not be able to tell, but the texture engine will. So yet again, we'll save it as TGA file glass tutorial, since I already made my own glass TGA file. Save the usual VTF, blah blah blah. Glass tutorial. There it is. Save it. Glass tutorial, etc., etc. And we want to put it in the same material folder as that glass model. So let's search it in here. Glass tutorial VTF, there it is. And we'll go back to the Portal 2 materials, models, props, destruction, and just go ahead and paste that in. Should have popped up. Yes, there it is, glass tutorial. I suggest maybe clicking it and then copying the name, because we need to use that name in the VMT of our glass model. So you see base texture is set to the default glass frosted base thing. Replace that with the name of our custom texture. And there's no worry about like replacing, backing up, as long as you know that what base texture the glass model originally had, if you care about that stuff, but I don't really. Another thing, translucent one and map saturation. We'll edit those, but first I'll show you what happens to our glass model now that we put in that very, very dash of like grayness texture as the base texture. So we saved that. Let's go back into SFM, and here is where you would go into the console and type in map reload all materials. Give it a second or two, like usual, and move the camera a tad, and there we have it. It's pretty much barely visible. I don't even know if you can tell on YouTube. Barely visible. Like, there's the line. We can even make it more barely visible. See that line? By going back into the VMT and commenting out. You can delete it, but I like to comment it out so that it stays there. Commenting out the translucent and env map saturation values. Save that. Put in the console command again. That's mat_reload all materials. Go back in here, wiggle around the camera. Oh, fuck, that was really bad idea. Okay. Whoops. Let's put this back in. See if that did it. Come on. Don't crash on me. Thank you. Nope. So you do need to have translucent. Who knew? Well, now you know. I think it's map and map saturation that you comment out. Hey, you learn from your mistakes, don't you? Wiggle around and boo. Here you can. I can't even tell if where the end of the glass panel is anymore. Barely visible. And if you have trouble finding it, just click the model name and then modify it as you wish. Ooh, yay. And there you have it, pretty much. This is set up for short range text projection, and I think you can just modify the max distance if you want to do it further a little, like so. And you would just adjust the glass model again. I would choose static prop since that's the actual model, like so. Move it like there. And it's a little bit faint, but we can easily fix that by going into the light, increasing the intensity, or increasing linear attenuation or quadratic, whichever you choose. Linear, quadratic, just increases brightness. And there you have it. Plink around with it. Ooh, that's an artifact. Plink around with it, both the gobo textures and the light settings to your liking. I like ducks. That's that. Alright, see you later.